Broadcasting from the Keep Moving Forward Creator Studios, it's time for the Athletes of the Titan Games podcast. This limited release show features the stories of the 2019 contestants of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's athletic competition, NBC's The Titan Games. Now here's your host, Katie Galley.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the Athletes of the Titan Games podcast. I'm your host, Katie Galley. In the Keep Moving Forward Creators Studio with me today, I have Titan Games athlete, massage therapist, and martial artist, Emily Andzulis. How are you doing, Emily?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I am doing great. Thanks so much for taking time to share your story with us.
Absolutely.
So just to kick it off and get the ball rolling, I wonder, where did you grow up, and how, if at all, was your childhood shaped by athletics?
I was born and raised in Fort Walton Beach, Florida, and around age 6, we moved to Tennessee, and that's when I started martial arts. So I was about 6, 7 years old, and that shaped me into being, self-disciplined. And martial arts is all about being self-disciplined and being mentally focused as well as physically. So, yeah, I mean, that has shaped my whole life. I've always done martial arts to where if I don't do it, I realize it because, it's how I grew up. So it's a huge part of who I am.
Yeah, I mean, to have something so intimately involved in your life and to have it impact you in that way. And so how did you then initially, you said you started when you were about 6 when you moved to Tennessee. So how did you find out about it? Did your parents put you in it? Did you just all of a sudden want to try something new?
Yeah, my parents put me in it. I was homeschooled growing up. I was homeschooled all my life. So, they wanted to, put us kids in something. I have a sister and 2 brothers, so they wanted to put us in a sport and stuff. And so taekwondo, self-defense, that's good for every kid to know. So I just happened to be good at it as I got older. I was beating up a little boy the first day in class. So I think my parents knew that it was for me, like the first day.
That's so
So
funny.
I stick to it. My sister did as well for a little while. My brothers didn't really. So I was mostly the one who stuck to it.
So seeing that you had such an aptitude for this sport at an early age, did your parents ever try and put you in other sports, or did you ever think maybe I want to try something else? Or once you found out about martial arts and you just got into it, it was kind of lights out. You just went all in with only that sport.
Yeah, honestly, I've tried. The church I grew up in, they had sports and stuff in the school, and I did a semester of volleyball or soccer or something, but I was so awkward with the ball. Like, I didn't know how to, like, dribble it or toss it with my feet, or, like, I was so awkward. So, martial arts just is always, I don't know what it is about it. It was just something I'm always good at. I don't, I'm just, if it gave me a ball, I don't know what to do with it. So, um, just, it's not so much about the violence and the kicking, the punching, it's just self-defense and being aware, because martial arts is just knowing your body and what your body is capable of and just being aware of what you can do. So it's just an amazing sport. And, I would love to be on a team of like volleyball team or soccer. Like, I think being on a team is so important as well.
Yeah.
So, with martial arts, it is a team, but it's also just you. It's a little bit more hard on yourself, but that's where the discipline comes in. So that kind of helps me when I do competitions on my own because I know it's just me. The win and the losses fall on myself.
Mm,
So, yeah, I love being on a team as well,
yeah.
but I'm also used to being alone. So,
Right, right. Yeah, you have that. You're able to, rise to the challenge when your team depends upon you, but largely in what you do, it is such an individualized sport. So having to
yeah,
have, like you said, that mental discipline to step up when it is needed, because it is just you out there having to
right.
perform.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, I can't
Yeah.
I can't imagine that. It's got to be crazy. And so
Yeah.
when I mean, you really started driving into martial arts, loving it. How did that kind of set you up? Then did you start to compete in local competitions? How did you grow in the sport from a young age and into where you are today?
Yeah, with this whole experience, I've never talked about my past so much. So it's really cool to kind of, pause and reflect back on how I got to this point.
Yeah.
So, you know, I did it mostly for, it was fun. A lot. I used to teach martial arts, so like I loved teaching because I was like, I was this kid one time. How can this kid get to be like me? How can I make it fun? All kids are different. Some of them stick to it for life. Rarely you do. They move on to other sports or they want to try new things. It's very rare that a kid sticks to it for a long time. Um, so I did, local competitions. I've traveled. I've done. I was on demo teams. Like we did martial arts to music and stuff. I've done jiu-jitsu competitions. I've done a good amount of competition, so I'm used to pressure. I'm used to, performing under pressure.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, that's where I'm very competitive, but calmly so. Like I don't get aggressive. I just, I'm like, let's get better. The only way you get better is performing under pressure. I really believe that.
Yeah. That is a great point. I do agree. And then having that experience every time you compete with it, having that experience of performing under pressure, or having to rise to perform under
Yeah.
pressure, it prepares you for, or it can prepare you for pretty much anywhere you choose to go after you're off the mat.
Yeah, you can't mimic a competition. You can't mimic a fight. Like you can't. You can try, but there's no way you can do it unless you're in it.
Mm,
So that's how you learn because you just can't, you can kind of almost pretend like, but the pressure that comes with it, you can't match it unless you do it. So,
hmm. Yeah, that's
yeah.
yeah. I can definitely see that. And so, what you're saying, so how it's rare that a kid would stick with this sport for that long. I mean, for life, and kind of getting past that adolescence and then just continuing forward. So, I don't know if you remember what if you had maybe a turning point, that maybe where there's a point where kids decide they don't want to continue on, but you decided that was, this was your sport. You wanted to just continue going full force.
I think for me, it's just since I was homeschooled, I wasn't going to school where my friends were in sports.
Yeah.
I didn't have the pressure of, because like if all my friends were on a team, I think I would want to be on a team and go. But since I didn't go to school, like this is what I love to do. I don't want to do anything else. So I'm telling you, like this is it's a rare breed because most people want to be on a team with their friends.
Yeah.
They want to do stuff with their friends, but I didn't.
Yeah.
Like I'm fine by myself. You can go. Uh, but yeah, I've always stuck to it. And what the older I got, the more I was starting to impress myself. Like wow, I can really push myself to be good,
Yeah.
and that escalated into training. I started lifting and stuff and learning more about just exercise and lifting and all these exercises and stuff. That was around 16, 17 when I started exploring that. And then I started incorporating both, like learning how to lift and making me stronger for martial arts. And that kind of played hand in hand for years. And then, I wanted to escalate my martial arts training. So I decided to do Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, which is, I was great on my feet, but how am I on the ground? So I wanted to go to Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, and I've done that for the past 5 years. Um, and then like in my lifting world, I was like, I want to get stronger. I want to do Olympic lifts. I want to do this crazy gymnastic stuff. So I started, doing some speed and agility training, and then I was still doing both. So like they were feeding each other.
Yeah.
And, the more that you explore things, like I wanted to get my hands on everything. I was like, I want to do martial arts. I want to do jujitsu. I want to do MMA. I want to do CrossFit. I want to do this. I want to do that. Like I wanted to do everything to where I could walk in any gym and just keep up with the rest of them. So that's my goal right now is to, you know, just be able to kill anything.
Yeah. That's so cool, just to be that all around athlete, so that no matter, literally no matter what is thrown at you, you have the ability to rise to the challenge and compete.
Yeah, because technique is technique, like if I'm well rounded, I can at least survive through everything,
Yeah.
Maybe not do as well as others, but at least I can survive.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
really. And so then what really, I mean, you come up on these challenges and that's really what drives you. You just want to be the best person, the best fighter, the best athlete that you possibly can be. So what is that driving force that keeps you setting these new goals and really wanting to achieve that next level?
Yeah, I've been asked this question a lot, and I can't really tell you what it is that makes me get up at crazy hours in the morning and want to do 2-a-day workouts. It's honestly just the passion in my heart to be better.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a person, it's not a thing. It is I want to be the best. And I know that people outwork me and that can't happen. It's awesome, honestly, just the passion that I have. I live and breathe fitness. Not a day goes by that I'm not trying to be better at something. And it's not for anybody else. It's for myself. I wish, if there's a competition, I'm killing it because I know that something's coming. If I'm not competing for anything, I'm just kind of slowing down, kind of, looking at my arsenal and like, what can I sharpen up? And um, yeah, so if there's competition in sight, I go crazy. So if there's not, I just want to be a killer athlete and I want to inspire people because I'm short, 5'2". I'm little, but I'm a shockingly good athlete to where people don't see that right off the bat. And I love to work. I love to grind.
Yeah. And I mean that's clear in your journey and just continuously setting these high achieving goals that you want to get to and then achieving them, just constantly pushing yourself and finding those new limits. So it's not like you're ever going to finally achieve everything you want because you always see that there's something
Yeah.
new, something better that you want to get to because you can always improve as an athlete.
There's never an end.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's awesome. And so, how does that then your all of this incredible athletic experience, how did that kind of bring you then to the profession that you're in as a massage therapist?
As soon as I graduated high school, I didn't really have an idea what I wanted to do. So I kind of took a year off and worked and kind of thought about what I wanted to do. And in Tennessee, where I live, we had a massage school. And I just went in there, talked to the professor, and I said, I love helping people. I love, just being a voice of it's going to be okay. So I'm like, then I thought about nursing. I'm like, well, nursing is kind of in my family. Maybe I can do that. But there was something that was pulling me towards massage. I can't really tell you what it was, but I talked to the professor there, and I just happened to be good at it and happened to love it. And I've been doing it for 7 years now. And um, it's a rough job, but it's very rewarding because I have clients that come in that have had the worst experience happen to them, but I don't know because I just don't ask them about their life. But they somehow for an hour I was able to take away all worry and you know just for an hour I was able to make them go to a different place, and if that's what I can do for somebody, that's great.
Yeah.
So it's a very interesting job. It has its ups and downs like most, but um, yeah, it's a very healing job for you know helping people. So that's what I
Yeah.
love to do.
Yeah. And I mean in the the journey that you've taken as an athlete too, that's reflected in that, being able to work one on one with people and having
Yeah.
that, that internal discipline to just to be there for them. And so as for your clients, is it pretty much anybody who's been injured or hurt or going through something, or do you work predominantly with athletes?
It's a spa that I work at,
Okay.
so I mean, I have athletes come in a spa, so like
Yeah.
it's anybody to a grandma to an athlete. It could be a stay-at-home mom, which are the hardest working people on this planet.
Yeah.
So they're in rougher shape than athletes sometimes. So um yeah, I mean it's anybody, everybody's got problems. So it's anybody. So
Yeah.
there I wouldn't say it's if I was at a some kind of chiropractic place or PT place, it'd be more athletes. But
Right,
I feel
right.
like everybody needs work done. So
Yeah, absolutely. And it really is incredible that you get the opportunity to work with people from all walks of life. And like you're saying, you don't know necessarily what they're walking in there with, but for that hour, you get the chance to actually help them and give them peace in just in that time that they're in your hands.
yeah, exactly.
And so with, I mean, this incredible journey that you've taken, Emily, how did it ultimately end you up as a contestant on the Titan Games?
Like with all this training that I've done, I'm like, how can I use like my martial arts and my lifting? Like how, because I've been doing both for years. How can I make them both work and do something great? I was like, I can't think of any kind of competition that has martial arts and lifting in it. Like I can't think of anything. So, I just continue to train, and I think it was in January or February or even sooner. Before I was watching Jimmy Fallon, and Dwayne Johnson went on there talking about the Titan Games, and I remember because I was like, that'd be crazy, but that would never happen. So my sister, she saw it too. She's like, "Did you see that he has a show? Wouldn't that be crazy if you got to meet him?" I'm like, "Sharon, don't be ridiculous like that. I'm sure they already have people. They're just talking about it." And it was crazy because I just looked it up, and it's just like an application. I was like, for a job. I was like, what? So I started filling it out. I got halfway through, and I'm like, this is too long. Like, so I put it down, and for a couple days, and then my sister's like, "Did you finish filling out the application?" I was like, "No." I was like, "There's just no way." Like, stop. So I was like, "Fine." So I filled it out, sent it in, and they called me 2 days later.
Oh,
And
man.
when they called me, I was like, "What?" Like, what? Like, no way. I was like, "This is." So at first, I was like, "How can I get excited? It's just a phone call."
Mhm.
How. But I was deep down, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is happening. Oh my gosh." Um, and just the whole process to get to the games. It was hard. It was long. It was a lot of unknown, and it happened to work out. And it still boggles my mind, but it this has been the most amazing journey. I tell you something. Like it's been the most amazing journey.
So
Yeah.
when you decided then to finish that application, and you got that call 2 days later, so how then, because you said is it you were kind of believing it, but also in that state of disbelief, like I can't believe this is actually happening. And so
Yeah.
when you eventually did get invited to the combine, and then beyond, how did you allow yourself to get in that mental state of, okay, this actually is happening, this is real, this is now a new goal of mine, I'm gonna go after that? How did you shift from disbelief into, all right, it's time to compete?
I turned my switch on.
Yeah.
The competing switch I'm used to turning on. Like you know, head down, eyes up, like here we go. Like you got to turn, I'm sure every competitor is used to competing. I feel like everyone there has competed in something. So it was just time to like this is a once in a lifetime chance,
Mm.
and there's no way I'm going to let this slip by without making an impact of some sort. Like I didn't even have to win the whole thing. I just want to impact others, impact people that work so hard and they have no reward. But, I've worked hard my whole life, and, I've lost tons of competitions. Like, I'm very used to losing.
Mm.
Like, surprisingly so. Like, I've competed a lot, but 5'2" girl martial arts where it's easy to kick my head, yeah, I lost a lot. And it sucks, but it's never damaged me enough to stop. So I was going into this thing with the same attitude. I was like, I don't know what they're going to throw at me, but I'm well rounded enough to handle whatever it is.
Yeah.
If it's going to be more of a martial arts thing to where like it's like balance on my own body weight, I'm very good about that. If it's lifting and strong, like I've got shoulders of a bear, like I'll be great. So
Yeah. And
um
again, it's like you're saying, I mean, everything that you did, you were unknowingly preparing for exactly this,
Yes.
exactly a competition like this where it was going to test all of your limits, all of your abilities, and you had a chance to go out there and showcase all of that you're capable of.
Gosh, it was destiny. Like this whole time, like I knew I was like, why am I training so hard? Why in the past couple of years have I been just training so hard? Then when the show came up, I was like, is this really why? Like, is this it? Like, is this what I've been training for? So, and that's what I hope people to encourage them. I'm like, you don't always have to have something in sight to believe something amazing is going to happen.
Hmm.
Because as long as you work hard, my coach always says, good thing, good things come to those who grind, and I've always believed that. So, I didn't have to see something to know something amazing was going to happen. I just You just work hard, and I just love the process. People dread going to the gym. They dread working out. You got to change that mindset because you're never going to get better that way. I don't know about you, but I love being strong and I love proving myself wrong and others and, beating new goals every day. I mean, nothing's more fulfilling.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I know. I completely agree. And that's, I mean, perfectly aligned with, it seems, what the Titan Games is all about and what your mission in life seems to be, just being better, and that passion that is already on your heart to just be better every day, be better than you were yesterday, and just continue to grind it out. And I love that because you don't necessarily have to have that next goal in sight, or you don't have to have a name for it yet. You just have to
yeah.
be working towards it in whatever form that takes at that time.
I have people ask me all the time, so what are you training for? Like, I don't know, but I'm ready.
Yeah. Oh man, that's a great answer.
I don't know, but I'll be ready.
Yes, that's so good, man.
I know.
So I
It's
mean,
funny too. It's
yeah,
funny.
but it's funny, but it's true because it doesn't. It's a testament to, well, it doesn't really matter what it is because you're ready for whatever it is going to be.
I mean, daggone it. Like the first thing I did was the tug of war thing.
Yeah.
Like I've never done that in my life. But there's things like like doing what is it? Gosh, like a pull down exercise. Just getting like the grips from jujitsu, the grips from massage, like that all played a toll in that competition. My martial arts helped me punch through that drywall. I mean, like
Yeah.
it was just looking over the whole competition I've done, I was like, wow, it's really helped me. That's why it encouraged myself. I'm like, all the training, you didn't know that this is going to happen, but you were ready. Isn't
Mm,
that crazy?
yeah.
It's crazy.
It really is. It is crazy, but I love it so much. Just live your life in that state of preparedness. Just,
Yeah.
not knowing what's going to happen, but just knowing
Because
that,
I don't, yeah, I
yeah.
don't want to like, here's a competition like next month. I'm like, oh, I'm not ready. I'm like, yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Like, I don't waste time, you know, being lazy. I'm like, I'm ready for anything.
Yes.
So that's what I want to be.
Yes. Oh man. Oh, that's so good. I really, really love that, and that's such an incredible way to live life and to inspire others to live their lives. Because I mean, coming off of that first competition, being that first female Titan, I mean, that's
Gosh,
what it's
I
gonna
didn't know that was
take.
going to happen.
Yeah.
Gosh.
That's
I was
so
like, I
cool.
was watching the premiere. I was like, is that me? Like, I'm first? Are you kidding
Oh
me?
man,
Yeah.
that's so cool. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love
That was
it. First
crazy.
female Titan. And again, you just were ready to do what it was going to take to get there, and you
I
did
was
it.
ready.
You did it. You were ready. And so
Gosh.
now with this incredible, I mean, seriously, the way that you live your life and having this experience specifically on this show, what would you say your definition of a Titan is? And how do you believe that this experience now is going to help carry over into the rest of your life?
Gosh, I think I've already said it. Being a Titan is always being ready.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I feel like all these events, it's so out there. It's speed and strength. You have to be ready for anything. At any time, I believe Titans never stop.
Mm-hmm.
We keep going. We're all a different breed. you know, all of those Titans are. And, you know, I just love being ready. You know, I don't want to waste time of, you know, taking it easy or whatever and having something come up and missing opportunities.
Mm.
So just always being ready.
Yeah. That's great. I mean, and again, it's just the way that you live your life, and having, no matter what it is, you're going to be ready for it. And so, Emily, just again, with all of these incredible life experiences that led you to today, and knowing that you still have so many more goals and things that you're going to achieve and succeed and excel at, I just have one final question that I ask all of my interviewees. What do you want to be remembered for?
Wow, made me emotional all of a sudden. What do I want to be remembered for? There's been times where I've stayed down. You know, like I've always been a go-getter, but there's times I've always been down. But it's never kept me down. You know, you'll see rough things happen, but you know, I just want to be known for she never gave up. She kept going forward.
Mm-hmm.
You know, despite anything, absolutely anything. You know, she never gave up and she continued to be who she was.
Thank you all for tuning in to today's installment of the Athletes of the Titan Games podcast. To learn more about each of these Titan athletes, be sure to check out their information in the links in my show notes. Furthermore, to stay up to date on all things coming out of the Keep Moving Forward Creators Studio, be sure to subscribe to the Keep Moving Forward podcast iTunes channel and follow along on social media, also available in the show notes. As the creator of the Titan Games, Mr. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson says, "Titans aren't born, they're made." And I hope today's story helped you realize all that you are capable of becoming if you put in that hard work and just keep moving forward.